Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Time for another edition of Silhouette of a Queen. I am your host and founder, Tiffany Devon. I thank you for coming in and tuning in tonight. I am a certified life coach, wardrobe stylist, and I style leaders and influencers in fearless fashions. And so, thank you for coming in and doing what you do, which is supporting the Silhouette of a Queen podcast. If you have not already done so, you already know what to do. I ask you to click like, subscribe, and share so that you can enjoy and invite other followers to come in and tune into tonight's segment is Me versus Me Part 2. And if you are tuning in for the first time, it's okay. I got you because I'm going to recap the first part. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to delay this any further. So, me versus me. Let me just kind of tell you how I came up with the title and the concept and why I thought it was important to go over that. I think all of us have um, a place where we are kind of forced or led. Hopefully, you're not forced because when you're forced, it's going against your own will. But hopefully, you are being led to a place in your life where you are beginning to challenge some things and you are wanting to expand and become more of a better version of yourself. And so when I was thinking about this title and when I first rolled it out the previous week, Me versus Me, I looked at it as this was something that I had been doing for the past week. I'm sorry, not for the past week, for the past year. I shared in the first segment how I had committed myself to going to therapy. And I recognized I didn't even realize that I was going to be committed to this process for a year. But goodness gracious, I will tell you, it was well worth it. So I want to tell you, me versus me is just really saying that you're going to make a decision that you're not going to stay in the place or space of where you currently are. You know there's something more, you know there's something bigger, but you may not quite know how to get there. So I hope that by me sharing my journey and my story that it will provoke something within you, maybe just a conversation with yourself, maybe for you to just journal, maybe to think about it, to pray about it in regards to what is God beckoning you to do in this space and season of your life. So in the first part, I talked about little me is the unhealed version of ourselves, and big me is the mature, whole, and healthy version of ourselves. That is the part in which God is calling us and beckoning us to become that big me person. But a lot of us can remain stuck in the little me version of ourselves. We can be ever adults, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, but still allowing the little me version to really rule and dominate our lives. And because we haven't made the conscious decision to really step over into becoming the higher version of ourselves, there are simply opportunities that we cannot embrace and take on until we do so. So a lot of times our prayers are incubated in the realm of the spirit, being held up because we refuse to step into becoming the bigger me, or we just simply don't know how to do it. But I'm here tonight to teach you and show you how you can step into it. And you that once you do it and you commit to the process, you're going to start seeing that you're going to start gaining ground and territory. And little by little, those things are going to slowly start being released to you because why? God can trust you with more. Because there are parts, like I said, the little version of ourselves that can't be trusted with more because you'll destroy it. And I'm just giving it to you straight up because that's how God gave it to me. So I talked about in the first part about the don't come for me thing that I had on my life. And I never knew I had it. But I didn't recognize how me wearing it as a badge of honor was going to jeopardize opportunities, places, and relationships had I not got this in order. So God had to show me that it was a trauma response from a previous generation. When there is trauma involved, whether it's something that happened directly to you or from a previous generation, that generation can then take on putting on an armor of, I'm never going to allow someone to take advantage of me. So therefore, I'm going to always present this image of being strong. I don't cry, you're not in touch with your feelings and things like that. So, but what I didn't know was the trauma response of don't come for me was rooted in that. So therefore, I would go throughout my life and my journey, if I felt somebody was coming for me or attacking me, that unhealed little girl version of myself that was not protected and secure would lash out. And she couldn't come out in ways of like this, right? And sometimes people would not see it coming because of my general nature of who I am. I'm a very easygoing, laid back person. So in my thought process, when I did have to show up that way, it was like, oh, well, you shouldn't have came for me. So now I had to claw and two-piece you to make you feel what I was feeling. So I soon learned that that was not the mature and healthy way to continue to respond and to continue to show up in my life. So I partnered with God and a therapist. So I did both. I did the spiritual stuff and I did the natural stuff so that they both could merge together. And I'm going to talk about that later on how you can bring both of the two together so that you are a person that is moving in one and in unity. So that way, when you continue to move in this space, God is going to show you and mirror back to you that what is within you. Okay. So I made that decision, did that, been working on that for the entire year. I found myself toward the end part of my journey, really wondering, like, gosh, is this really working? Like, and I knew it was working, but I had just grown tired of the process. And I had to ask myself, well, what is your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you committing yourself to this? And my why, your why may be completely different from my why, but my why was I just simply wanted inner peace. That's all I wanted. I didn't want cars. I didn't want clothes. Although you guys see all of this and stuff like that, you see that I like to dress in everything. That's the wardrobe stylist part of me. But what I seek was simply inner peace, being able to get into bed and go to sleep and have a decent night's rest, being able to show up in the world, be fully complete in myself without people making me feel like I had to be someone else. That was my why. And because my why was seeking that inner peace in myself, it is what drove me to continue to commit to the process because I knew that there was going to be something greater on the other side. So that's why I kept pushing forward. All right. So that was my why. So recently I told you guys in the first part, again, I'm just recapping before we get into the part 2 segment of me versus me, is that I recognized that, oh, I finally arrived. I got here. I've gotten to this place that I've always said that I wanted to get to. And so I decided to close a book on my life, not only just my life, but on the generation of the other women that had came before me, closing the door on this whole don't come for me thing, laying that armor down and putting on a new one and exchanging it for something greater and better. And I'm happy. I'm excited about where I am in the world. Not quite there where I want to be yet, but I can honestly say that chapter and the book is closed to that part of my life. All right. So that's where we are. So tonight, part 2, me versus me. We're going to talk about convergence. And what does convergence mean? All right. So convergence means to meet, assemble, cluster, gather, concentrate, to come together and unite in a common interest or focus to move toward one point or one another. So I wanted to lay out the definition of convergence because that's what we're going to do. We're going to take little me and big me, and we're going to converge them together, marry them together, almost like marriage, right? When you get married, or if you've been married or are married, been to a wedding, you already know that the pastor says, and the two shall become one. So the two are becoming one. All right. Now, it would look like that you would want to totally get rid of little me, because little me has just acted a fool. She has just showed up and showed out. Sometimes she may have embarrassed you. She may have made you cuss out some people. She may have made you do some things that you are just downright embarrassed with. But we're not going to get rid of her. Mm-mm. She serves a purpose. I'm going to tell you why she serves a purpose. So, like I said, little me, big me coming together, and the two shall become one. Because when you make that decision to marry both of the two, big me is the higher version of ourselves, like I said, and little me is the little version of ourselves. So, you are going to make the little me version serve the higher version of yourself. And higher version of yourself, big me, got this. She's like, girl, look, I know that we have gone through some things. I know why you cussed those people out. I know why you did those things that you did. I know you didn't feel like they were hearing you, so you had to make a ruckus. But let me tell you, big me, I'm going to be in the driver's seat from this point forward, because I understand that in order to get to where we need to go, you need to let me be in the driver's seat, because I am the one that's going to be able to communicate your feelings in such a way where people can understand you. Because when you do it the other way, people are not going to hear you. So that's what big me does. She can communicate the feelings of little me without all of the extra ruckus and being aggressive. Okay. Again, like I said, she is the mature version of yourself. So I want you to make sure that are you still with me? All right. Because I know I'm saying probably a lot, but I want you to just really just take a deep breath, because this is a lot. Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. You also have to understand too that maturity has to be worked on. It has to be worked on daily. Okay. And it's going to be uncomfortable to express yourself and be vulnerable and transparent, not only with yourself, but with those around you, because little me has ran the show. Little me got things done, even if it was ugly. But mature me says, like I said, she's the one that's having the conversations. So this is something that you're going to have to make a conscious effort every day to say, I am going to do this a different way. And it's going to be uncomfortable to do it a different way, because you've never done it this way. You've never known this version of yourself that you are getting ready to meet and be introduced to. And I have a feeling that some of you have already seen a peek of the mature version of yourself, but what you're going to do is give her full reign to have her way in your life. And God is going to be speaking to that mature woman. So let's not get that twisted either, okay? You can trust the mature woman to get you to that designated end. Now, I understand too that some of us were not taught how to communicate our feelings, because some of us have come from an era where we didn't do that. We kept everything bottled up inside, and these things, when they stay bottled up for too long, they're going to come out in different ways. So you're going to have to get comfortable with doing that. And you have to, again, and that may be your why. Your why may be, oh, if I don't do this, this can happen. So when you understand your why, it will make you commit to the process of being vulnerable when you have not always been vulnerable. It really is a gift, and you owe it to yourself. When you commit to this process, you will see that so much is to be gained from it. You will become a better woman, a better friend, a better partner, a better employee, just overall altogether. There is no way that you can not do this work. Doing this work, this is the spiritual side of stuff. This is the part where sometimes we're not really taught the importance of marrying the two together. It's like either you're super spiritual, the person of faith right here, or you don't really get into that spiritual stuff. You like, nah, that don't really belong in the workplace, I'm good. No, they actually do go together. This work that you will start to do will trickle down in every area of your life. It will affect your mindset. It will affect your money. It will affect your outlook. It will affect everything. So this is why it's so important, because you are literally becoming a total, whole, and healthy version of yourself. Now you understand at this point. All right, Tiffany, I hear what you're saying. This is disrupting everything that I know. This is disrupting the familiar. And how many of you know disruption does not feel good? It is ugly. Just in these last 2 years alone of being in the pandemic, 2020, 2021, 2022 has been straight up disruptive. It has knocked us out of everything that has ever been known to us to be familiar to us, okay? But I'm telling you, you have to make this decision to disrupt the familiar, that which is around you. And I'm going to be honest with you. When you make this decision to disrupt the familiar, just know that you will evolve past people, places, and things that accommodated that version of you. How do I know? Because I've had to do it. And I knew that when I made the decision to do this, and I believe I mentioned this in the first part of Me versus Me, but I knew that when I made this decision, it was going to rock some things. And then I had to say to myself, when I rocked myself out of the situation, I was like, well, we're just surprised, we're just shocked. And I had to say, no, no. And I'm glad because I chose to bet on me. And ultimately, I had to evolve to the person that God was saying that I needed to become in this season of my life. Okay. Recognize too, there will be times and moments where you will want to abort this process. You will want to stop it because it is so uncomfortable and it's so disruptive. But God is so amazing because he takes chaos and he takes mess, and it is the perfect backdrop. It is the perfect stage for God to come in and do his best work. It's like he just comes in and sprinkles stuff and starts bringing things together and it starts aligning things together because it's in disarray. This is the process and the journey where he'll start speaking to you the most when things are chaotic, when he starts telling you, go here, go do this, say this. I need you to not do that, because he's establishing something new. And so as I'm moving my fingers, that's what he's doing as he's talking to you, is he's sprinkling his clarity, he's sprinkling vision to facilitate the new that he wants to establish in your life. So this is why it will be important that even though it's disruptive and it's uncomfortable, that you stick with it, because you are building something new. You are creating a new foundation. And as you're creating the new foundation, you will start to see that there's going to be walls that start to go up. There's going to be pillars. There's going to be things. There are going to be things that are going to come into your life to support you in this space and the journey of your life. So this is why it's important that you stick with this, okay? As again, the convergence process is happening, and we've already decided, like I said earlier, the little me, big me, marrying, coming together as one. It's not that little me won't act up and have her way. And like I said, it's just that the bigger me version will always be in the driver's seat. And ultimately, what we want to become is that mature woman, that version of ourselves. And when you do this work, some of you have already started, some of you are just getting started, some of you are in different places of the journey of walking into maturity and walking into wholeness. But what God will begin to teach you and show you during this process is that validation only comes from Him alone. And when He validates you, no degree, no accolade, no title, no cheers, no clap will be able to do it for you, because all of that stuff will be extra to what He's already said and who you are. And so that has been my story, me versus me. And it has taken me quite some time to get to this process or whatever, but I am so overjoyed, appreciative of what God has done and is still continuing to do in my life. And again, for those of you, if you want to check out Me versus Me Part 1, you are able to do that on YouTube and be able to check that out. I'm so glad that you were able to tune in and listen tonight. Again, you may have to watch the replay to really go back and hear what I said again. It's okay. Maybe jot some notes and whatnot. But it's been a journey. It's been a ride. And I thank you again for going along on this journey with me. And we're going to continue to do things, great things together. We're going to continue to grow and glow up together, because, as we grow, we want to look around and see if someone doing the same thing. But just know that your sis out here is growing and glowing, okay? And you're going to be growing and glowing too, because we're not going to be out here doing this all by ourselves. And we're going to be living out loud in the process, all right? Again, thank you for watching. And you already know what to do. Click like, subscribe, and share so that you get the next segment of Silhouette of a Queen when I go live. It has been truly an honor and a pleasure of being able to be not only your coach, but a teacher, a sister, a friend. I'm an auntie. In real life, I'm an auntie. But I am all of those things. I wear a lot of different titles. Sometimes I wear a lot of hats. But what is most important to me is being someone who's real, who's going to keep it real with you, who's going to let you know that I'm in the trenches with you. I've been in the trenches. I've cried so many tears. But what I know, that God will take those tears and water your tomorrow. So let's keep it going. All right, I'll talk to you later.